this cheap fez that I got with Doctor Who Adventures.
Cheap fez.
Cheap fez. Well, that's what it was. It was a fez from Doctor Who Adventures magazine. Please do.
We are live.
Oh.
People can hear you. And we're about to press the open credits. Can't find them.
Where's the Jenna thing?
Can't find the open credits. It's disappeared.
Hope he gets a bit slow.
I wonder how long that one's been there.
It's red wine.
Talking Who, Doctor Who podcast. Talking Who.
Well, we are live.
Yes,
We are
hello.
live
Hello!
Now,
in low res. We are live in low res.
before we continue, do you want to explain something to the listeners?
Well, our regular camera just has decided it doesn't want to work today, so we are now on emergency cam, which is of course the camera on top of the laptop, which is not the best camera to have, but
No.
you know, we have improved the quality of our microphone as compensation. I hope.
It's like when you lose your vision and sort of they say that your hearing sort of gets better.
We should also explain who this guy is.
So, hello everyone. I'm Elazar Cabrera,
I'm Cameron K. McEwen.
and we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Darren Chadwick Hussain, and that's me.
Yep, and you can tweet all of us there. You see our Twitter names.
But I have absolutely zero reception, so please, by all means, tweet away. Chances are I will not get it until I leave this basement.
One thing I'd like to point out is that we had a special announcement, a special thing at the start.
Yeah, should
Didn't
we just
we?
play it again?
Just play it again. Who's that?
Who was that indeed? I was just up in Trafalgar Square. I just got some random girl walking by saying, "Could you mind just saying Talking Who to the camera?" And she did.
Yeah,
God
some
bless
random.
her.
So we should say that I was there from 7 in the morning watching the filming of Doctor Who 50th anniversary special.
Yeah.
I was there for 6 hours in the rain,
Were you?
tweeting. Yeah, I was, and it was very cold. So occasionally I would spell things wrong on Twitter.
Well, it's a bit hard when your fingers are.
I mean, my hands were actually so cold. It was very difficult to take pictures and stuff, but it was a great day. Got a lot to see, and now I'm married to Jenna.
What? You promised to me.
Wow. So later on, we will be previewing. I will be previewing the next episode, Hyde.
Fantastic.
Do you think we should preview Johnny to the Centre of the TARDIS as well, or leave that as a surprise?
We could do, absolutely.
We'll also be reviewing Cold War later. That's the most recent Doctor Who episode. But we'll also be making a special announcement. For those who regularly watch the show, you'll know that Sean Harry presents the show with us. You're Sean this week.
I am Sean this week. I have suddenly got, slightly older and slightly more attractive, but...
Wow! It's okay, Sean will not be watching. But he is running, he's organised the Return to the 11th Hour convention, which they announced last week. Catherine Tate was going to be attending, which I'm very excited about. You, Elsa?
Right. I think Catherine Tate's amazing, going to be an amazing guest.
Yeah, I absolutely adore her. There's also Karen Gillan. You heard of her?
I have, yes.
Yep. So we're going to be making another special announcement of another very special guest later on tonight.
Mexican wave. Half-hearted. Well, I got excited.
First of all, though, we will be reviewing the Rings of...
The Rings of
Akhaten. Shaka Khan.
Hanukkah?
Sutek. We were reviewing that, so please get your comments in on the YouTube channel. Let us know what you thought of the Rings of Shaka Khan.
Chaka Khan.
And remember, later on, you can give it your view on Cold War. Who wants to go first on the Rings? Do you want to take us off?
Okay, well...
Sorry, before that, do we have any news this week?
Well, news this week was really, I suppose...
Doctor Who filming in
Doctor
London.
Who filming in London. And
just round the corner
and
from here.
everyone's sort of moving around and wandering around and following it from location to location.
Do you know what the ironic thing about it was? It's actually, they were filming in London, but the episode is actually set in Cardiff.
That would be ironic. I saw them filming at the Tower of London.
And is that when you first spotted Tom Baker's Scarf Lady?
Yes, Ingrid Oliver.
Yes.
A fabulous actress and comedian. I absolutely adore her, and I'm slightly in love. By slightly, I mean
Very.
hugely. She was brilliant. So there was Jenna, and there was Gemma Redgrave as well.
Yep.
Which was weird because I didn't know they'd announced, and apparently I tweeted a picture of her, and then the BBC announced it almost immediately. Although it wasn't
breaking news then.
it wasn't because I'd done it. It was just they were planning that anyway.
No, tell everyone it was because you'd done it.
So you broke the news?
No, well, for some people, yeah. So that was kind of a bit strange.
Yeah.
So I saw filming there, which was great. Managed to read a bit of the script that somebody left lying around, and then saw them filming on Tower Bridge as well.
Yeah.
Just by chance, actually, they were filmed some
Well,
shots.
if any of you guys out there did see the filming, just
please.
just write in the comments box and let us know which part of London filming you actually got to see.
The filming in Trafalgar Square was sensational.
Well, that because everyone got to see him, Matt Smith, hanging from the
Yeah,
TARDIS.
they actually had Matt Smith hanging from the TARDIS from a hugely great height, and we couldn't believe it. I was sitting talking to the BBC boys.
Wasn't that the start of the 11th hour?
Yeah, but that was in a studio safely. This is actually.
It's been done.
This is.
I'm
I mean,
sorry. 50th anniversary. Think beyond the big box. You know, he's already been hanging from the TARDIS. Sorry.
No, not like this.
Happy.
Not like he. I mean, he was so high in the air, and people were like, "Oh, it's a stuntman." It wasn't. They got a stuntman to do it twice or three times at the start.
Yeah.
And then Matt, bless him, decided he would have a go, and they did. I don't know. I mean, the insurance people, his agent, must have been bricking
I'm
themselves.
sure their harness was.
I mean, there was no crash mats on the ground. This is the weird thing. There's nothing below them. It was hilarious. But yeah, well done, Matt. It was a great little
You
scene.
trooper.
Yeah, well done, baby.
Yeah, you and Sean Connery, you do your own stunts.
Any other news on the?
There hasn't really been. I mean, I guess people are obviously getting to see who's in the 50th anniversary special. We know that the convention in New Zealand or Australia, was it? The past Doctors all got to talk about wanting the idea of Peter Jackson to do an episode.
Yeah, I mean, as we've discussed with Peter Jackson, the problem is he'd make it into 3 episodes.
And there'd be a musical number.
It would be a waste. It would be a waste to do him just for one episode.
Yeah, of course.
You'd have to almost give him a mini-series. Like, could Peter Jackson do a Time War mini-series with the 8th Doctor?
I mean, already I was interested. Then you bring the Time War in, I'm bored.
But you know what I mean? There'd have to be a reason to have Peter Jackson.
Yes.
And it'd have to be like a proper, dedicated mini-series, almost out of context of the current series.
Oh god, Peter Jackson can't even dress smartly for the Oscars. What do you think he's going to contribute to Doctor Who? I'm sorry. I'm in a grumpy mood, everybody.
Wow.
The Rings of Chaka Khan did this to me.
It's a fine, fine movie.
What is a fine movie?
Peter Jackson's a fine, fine movie maker.
Is he indeed?
Yes.
Right, I wasn't aware of that.
Brain Dead is one of my favourites.
Brain Dead's
Frighteners, great.
Bad taste.
Has he done anything else? No. See how many people I upset with that. Also out there, Paul McGann gave a very interesting interview. Did you catch that?
I didn't know.
What kind of Doctor Who fan are you? He was asked about the 50th anniversary, and he said in his little voice, he said, well, being an actor, we could get a call on Friday and be there on Monday. That's the life of an actor,
Unless you're in Australia, in which case you probably decided that you actually aren't going to be in it.
But he actually brought Christopher Eccleston into the equation without being prompted. Oh, Christopher Eccleston, they need to iron that out before... So it's strange that he brought... Thank you for my Paul McGann impression there, for all the compliments. So he brought him into it, which I thought was very interesting.
What about the John Sim thing that I saw you post?
Yeah, John Sim on the Jonathan Ross show.
Said he's not had a call, no.
Yeah, but that's sort of the pause.
No. He didn't say I had a call. He said outright, no, I'm not in it.
But he went...
Yeah, he did a weird thing where he stopped and looked at the camera and said no. Which is different to somebody saying, oh, I haven't been contacted or I haven't heard anything. That's what people like David Tennant and Billy, they all said that.
Do you think Stephen Moffat was doing a face palm at the time? Very
no, I don't think Stephen Moffat's capable of emotion.
L4T Productions points out Peter Jackson only wanted to be paid
Yeah.
with a Dalek.
Yeah,
for doing an
he wanted a
episode.
Dalek.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He doesn't want any cash or anything, just a Dalek.
Yeah.
A real Dalek, though? Well,
A full-size
impossible.
one.
Well, what,
Oh, right,
with
you
the
mean-
mutant inside?
No, I think he has
Sorry.
to, one of the
It's like a TV
BBC
show.
bicycle people inside would have to give
BBC
up.
bicycle
Circus
people.
midget. So
Slightly
you can
racist.
Whip it round. Like sort of on a tricycle, like something out of The Shining.
Hey, I like it.
Aye.
So that's the other
But
than that.
Sebastian Brook has actually pointed out he actually wants 2 Daleks.
Oh, we can have 3.
He
you know.
wants 2. Is he going to mate them? I recognise that name.
Dalek Circus.
So that's all the news this week.
Yes.
And Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy did appear to say that they weren't involved.
They weren't involved.
But of course,
It's going to be like the Fifth Doctors, the Five Doctors, when they sort of replace, them with waxworks, really bad waxworks in the photo.
that would be I think they should do that. They should get waxworks of like Christopher Eccleston.
What do you mean? That
Less.
guy practically is a waxwork. All you need to do is sort of melt somebody down.
Whoa! Send all your comments about.
Yeah,
So-
as much as you hate me, just watch my show.
So there's not much else news-wise in the world of Who.
No,
which
I don't think so, you know.
which that's quite a lot. Filming in London, huge.
Huge.
The
Clues to the story, do you think? In the 50th anniversary story, do you think anything has been revealed in these outdoor shots? Trafalgar Square, I got the impression it's probably the opening
I thought that
start
is it,
of the
the
episode.
TARDIS has been picked up by Unit.
Yeah.
And in that little snippet of dialogue, which everyone could hear, so this isn't really a spoiler, but the Doctor did say to Jim, or Redgrave's character, Kate Stewart, said, as your father would have told you, I don't like being picked up.
Yeah.
And she gives him an envelope from Queen Elizabeth I.
So it definitely feels like that's the start. So
Yeah,
that's
I will say they were filming scenes in front of the National Gallery.
Okay.
This was early on, and they had unit troops lined up in front of the National Gallery. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when Jonathan Ross's show earlier this year, Matt Smith said the one word paintings when it came to the 50th anniversary. What do you have in the National Gallery?
right, indeed.
Lots of tourists, lots and lots.
Tourists.
lots and lots and lots of tourists.
I can't. The last time I was in the National Gallery, when was I last there? I don't know. Anyway,
Outside Thatcher's, you were dancing when Thatcher died. That Saturday.
whoa, that's so inappropriate.
Oh my god, it is. I'm so
That's
sorry.
really offensive. So that was good, so so Doctor Who fan Forever said we got a new picture with Tennant and Matt on set in costume. Did we?
We did, but we're not showing
There
it.
was-
That's not an official news thing, though.
There was one that was going around which was actually cosplayers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That people actually thought was the real.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
think
Yeah,
because the guy that's in it, Matt, who plays Matt, owned up to it and said, "Yeah, that's what they had done that a little while ago."
Yeah.
So Doctor Who Forever 100, you might have seen the wrong costume. You might have seen somebody's faked picture.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sebastian Brook from Doctor Who Online, our good buddies there. He's wishing us well. He's only stopping by briefly tonight.
Oh,
Indeed.
Oh.
Well, thanks, Sebastian, and apologies for the low res camera.
like you say, no res.
You can.
I know Cameron is,
I'm better on high res, as you know, Sebastian. So we're going to move on to the Rings of Shaka Khan.
Oh, maybe there are pics out.
Oh, we just.
Is that today?
That's just now.
Okay, well,
Oh,
our
I'll tell you what,
you
producer.
heard it here first.
Why don't you guys start on the
Yeah,
rings?
he's
and
gonna find-
I want to look on Twitter about this picture that Doctor Who Forever 100
has broken to us.
To us.
He's going to look for a good buddy's
So,
going to look for David. But
Rings
we're
of
going to talk
Shaka
about Rings of Shaka Khan now. Do you want to start?
Well, because this is my first time, what I did was, and they would say, "Oh yeah, review the show." Can someone just tell me how to properly pronounce it?
Aha.
Can I just say that word? Okay. So I actually sat down and with a pen and paper. Seriously, and sort of stopped every now and again to sit down and make notes and to wipe the vomit from the side of my mouth. And the tears.
Vomit
and
and
you know what?
tears.
I'm not joking. Seriously, I wrote notes.
Oh, whoa.
I have notes.
There are actual. Do you know how many pages I've written?
He gets out. He's sort of.
None.
Okay. Well, you know what? Do you remember the outcry when, they had an animated Graham Norton? Do you know
Yes.
what? You could have Tom Jones doing a big poo in the corner of the screen the entire way through, and I don't think people would bother anymore. It really did. I did not enjoy the show. I did not enjoy that episode. It was a bit, I'm hesitant to use the word ish these days when I'm describing Doctor Who.
Because it's too close to pish.
Well, no, it's because it's okay-ish.
Yeah.
It was alright-ish. I'm just not. I just wasn't a fan, and the opening, it was like the start of Up, but without the sense of,
Oh, I mean,
without the emotion and the specials.
I mean, I was
doing Ghost Town without having that.
Yeah, without all of those things. I mean, you're bringing in a good film there to describe a bad TV show. Sorry, an episode of a bad. Yeah. So the opening. How do you feel about revisiting a companion's life? For me, I had shades of Father's Day and every other companion that Stephen Moffat's done.
I'm glad to hear that that her father will make a reappearance, because he's a bit of alright.
I preferred her mother, but of course she's dead.
She is. Well, she
and did you notice
too pretty anymore.
Shall we look at that opening scene? Did you notice the date she died on?
Okay, right. I've got to stop this right now.
Whoa.
No, because this is why I am not enjoying the show. I am overanalyzing everything.
Yeah.
Every minute
because people are thinking, oh well, because
this is going to be brought back,
and it never is. Of course, it never is.
But no, I'm not enjoying that.
Yeah. Well, the date the mother died, and this may be meaningless, but was the same date that the Autons attacked in Rose.
Oh.
Fact fans may know.
I saw that and I thought, really, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of having all these sort of date coincidences?
I know, it's pointless.
And the thing is, if it's going to lead to something, it's just going to be like, really? That?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, okay, but sort of, if you're going to go into that and you're going to overanalyze, but, okay, who was driving the car?
Well, can I point at something else?
You know something.
No, I don't know anything. God, if I knew something, I wouldn't be here. I'm joking. The car is very similar to the car in Father's Day that runs over Pete Tyler.
That's just because the BBC's only got one
But,
car.
I mean, it's very similar in colour, but it's actually a different model, and it's a different license plate, so it's not the same car.
Okay.
But a lot of people
it's like the same car, but like the same.
I mean, at a cursory glance, you think, oh, it's the same car. But with a bit of detective work, which I set my team to do, they discovered it was not.
Is there any? I mean, you've seen other episodes. Is the name Ravenwood? Is it going to be like the Ravenwood Institute or anything in
Ravenwood?
That was the mother's maiden name.
Oh, was it?
See, I did tell you that I had to stop.
I thought you were making a reference to Indiana Jones there.
Okay, L4T Production says, yes, Clara is surrounded by Rose references. It's making me think the worst.
What
she's going to.
And what would be the worst?
Clara's going to disappear and come back and not be able to talk properly.
Wow.
In that one episode. So you keep saying wow, but you can tell it was set in the past because some strange man comes up to a child. And sort of, that wouldn't happen these days. He'd be pulled away quick and you could say Operation
Rings was very beautiful. I mean, it looked fantastic. It's just nothing really much happened.
Can I take strong disagreeing tones there? I don't think it did look fantastic. No? There was bits of it to me that looked cheap.
Oh, yeah. You know what? They made the dad look really great by aging him up slightly.
You like that dad?
Makeup. I do. I'm unashamed to say it. Pride. But then, that was a simple bit of makeup, and then they Millennium Effects spent all this money on making some really bad Halloween masks.
I don't think they spent any money on this.
Well, no, they said that sort of, we did some for free, and it was like,
yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with that. To me, there was scenes in there, particularly scenes walking around, that looked cheap, and it looks like a set-bound adventure.
Yeah.
And
you did think of Mos Eisley straight away.
No, I don't think.
I did, kind of.
You're always thinking of Mos Eisley, though.
Well, really?
I can see the Mos Eisley.
The other thing that there was some really nice CG in it, but there was some CG in it that was not good at all.
No, the whole.
Yeah. But I mean that's not why I didn't like the story. We'll get to that.
Andy Oliver 232 disagrees. Says, I love the Rings of Akhaten.
Hold on, Andy Oliver 232. He's the 232nd.
Andy Oliver on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Andy.
He continues, big in heart, huge in subtext. This story was an intelligent thematically, but simple with its narrative. Neil Cross did an exceptional job.
Whoa. Andy Oliver liked it. Do you want to?
Yeah. Okay. Right. All right. Well. Okay. Right. So. I was talking with. I wasn't a fan. I was talking with a friend in the States, and he said it was the singing sequence, which we'll get to, was a wonderful celebration of multi-cultures, multi-alien cultures getting together and singing praise. And with what happened recently in Boston, he was feeling very over-emotional. And so I was like, yeah, I can accept that. But no, it was terrible.
Wow,
I could,
took us on a journey.
There was a lot of singing. That was the thing. And when it started again, you thought, really, more singing?
Well, I'll be honest. I like the songs. I think Mr. Mugo, my good buddy Muzza G, I thought the songs were beautiful, but
but then you know what? You get it. It's now come to the point you get a song in every series, and it's some work really well, and others are just sort of, oh god, it's another song episode. Do be honest, do a Buffy, do a musical episode.
I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to say do a Button Moon. It was actually close to a musical because in terms of a musical, the songs in it were actually driving the narrative and plot forward. They were integral to that story, which is nice. But
then so it wasn't a Christmas special, and I'm sure I was expecting the shark to come down and sort of and the fish to be at peace.
Well, singing about things in the air. I mean, I thought the whole space bike was just
2 weeks in a row we've had bikes.
I know we've had to, but this when it's like
called Doreen a bike.
Bikes that are ridiculous, ones that can fly through space and have some sort of atmosphere.
Do you know what? Was I the only one who actually, when he was flying it, I wanted to be bum 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 flash. Didn't get
I don't have a problem with the bike.
They missed a joke.
But the bike just looked crap as well.
It did. It didn't look good.
It looked like someone had just.
But here we come to the point of the threat, the alien threat, and the monsters. It was just pitiful in a way because the mummy looked really good, and yet it was ineffectual.
But then the actual what were they called? The actual three of the trio of...
Oh, they were called the Vigil.
The Vigil. You see, I have got sort of,
with the face things.
Yeah, they were sort of creepy.
They were creepy.
But they weren't in it. They weren't enough.
But that was... They were genuinely scary and, oh, maybe. That whisper was genuinely unsettling.
Can we swap places? Yeah, they were very... I thought they looked good, but they were just not
used. But then
used.
they were gone. It was like, oh no, they've been beaten.
And now we've got a big, huge alien face, which we've had before, this kind of thing, And here comes my main problem. The alien is defeated by memories. The resolution's memories, which has happened so many times in recent Doctor Who.
Well, it's true.
It's lazy.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't defeated by memories. He was sort of... It was belief. Have you ever tried to keep a leaf for 25 years? It breaks.
The leaf contained memories, though. The imprint of memories.
The future and multi-million stories and...
That's true. Memories of the future.
No, but there's a bit I just sort of picked up, and it says, an infancy is too much, even for your appetite. Now, I've got a new game, which, please, every time that there's a big speech in Doctor Who, add the words, you bitch, to the end of it.
Oh, no.
An infinity is too much,
even
for your appetite, you bitch.
Can I stop you? If you have younger viewers watching, please don't let them use the word bitch.
I am sorry.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Jitesh486 says, what about the sonic screwdriver? I hate the way it was overused.
Oh, it can now lift stone.
The whole sort of lifting the heavy door was kind of...
What? Yeah, and again, I don't know. I have a problem with the way that it always seems to be he just brings it out as the first thing he does, just to wave it around, and
it can seem to do whatever he needs it to do. Just for that.
Which I don't mind that. I don't mind it being that device because it's usually, it's not solving the day, or saving the day, but it's moving you on. I just don't. I just get irritated the way it comes out all the time to have a little look around. He's got eyes.
Well, there's no readout on it as well.
I know.
It's just like, what is he actually looking at?
I think he's just insecure. I think he's like, I'm just going to do this.
That would be great, actually, if they come up with an episode like they did on Time Crash, that the glasses actually don't mean anything. The sonic screwdriver actually didn't do anything. He's actually got superpowers.
That's the greatest secret the Doctor has. It's like he
actually has superpowers and he can do all these things.
Just going back to the aliens as well, because It was like, okay, it looked beautiful. Okay, certain bits did look beautiful. The whole of the rings that looked great.
Yeah. That was a lovely.
You've got money to spend. That's great. You know what? There was a time when they didn't have money, so they had something else instead. Story.
Yes.
Are you saying that Mr. Neil Cross, one of our finest screenwriters, can't put a good story together?
I am saying that he can put a good story together. He just didn't do it tonight.
Oh, you mean for Rings of Shaka Khan?
For Rings of Akhaten.
I agree. I'm happy to say though we'll be discussing Neil Cross again with his episode Hyde. He's done a better job with that. But sticking with Akhaten. Do we have any more comments?
L4T Productions asks, wouldn't the removing of Akhaten's son just kill everyone there?
Well, yes! Thank you! That was one of the... loads of things made sense. Okay, right, this monster's sort of...
Well, actually,
going to eat everyone.
How do you live so close to a son as well?
Well, I'm sure somebody's going to sort of... I'm not going to split hairs, but... the whole thing, and generation and generation have sung to calm this guard. It's like, okay, if somebody's constantly singing, how are we going to have a generation after a generation? I did like, by the way...
Well, you can sing when you're making love.
Who screwed up? Because the little girl sang fine, and it was the guy who actually went, "Aah!" And sort of, and then he was back, sort of, trying to appease the mummy, sort of singing, "Please don't blame me, take the girl. She's much younger and much tastier, don't blame me." And you know what?
Oh, you see, you almost had a good rhyme there. Girl, tastier. Would have been good.
But no. When is it okay to
feed a child to a monster?
No. Actually, what is the cut-off point for Doctor Who to actually care about somebody? He cared about a little girl. He didn't care about a fully grown adult. Who either was vaporized himself or he's going to come back as another villain. It's like, I am Quiet Chorister Welshman and I am the long song finishes with me, click, vump, and he's gone. Is he dead? Is he vaporized or is he sort of teleported? He didn't care about that guy dying, but he cares about a little girl. When does it happen? Is there going to be a sort of a point when, the doctor's going to rescue somebody, there's a little boy coming up for help, and it's like, help me, and then he's going to go, help me, and it's like, I'm sorry, your voice is broken, you're too old for me to help now.
We are straddling into rivers that I don't want to discuss. When should the doctor care about someone? Well, good question.
Is there a good answer out there?
Who knows? Personally, I hadn't thought about the story that much because I just find it tedious. Ben Rogers says Akhaten was actually a planet, not a sun, despite some very confusing dialogue. You see, I mean, I'd switched off. I've seen it twice, but that's another thing. What was going on? What was going on?
I liked the bit where the doctor actually admitted that he was wrong.
Yeah.
That was good because he had that sort of, and it was, thanks Doctor, you've actually, with your elongated face and your greasy hair and your bow tie, you've actually doomed us all.
It's not the first time in a Neil Cross story where the doctor says he gets something wrong.
Yeah.
A spoiler for next time. Saturday.
Oh.
I say spoilers, no.
In fact, am I the only one who thinks that sort of... Because Matt, as much as I might like Mike Smith, he's got an odd face.
Do you find him attractive? This is what it's come to, discussing Matt Smith. Is he attractive?
3 little syllables, oh God, no.
3 little syllables.
No, seriously. But because his face, he's got an elongated face. In fact, actually, what I would really like, Doctor Who writers, please do a tiny little joke. Have the Doctor looking glum and then have Clara come up to him and go, why the long face?
I think that...
And then it seemed to be a problem with the Gallifreyan forceps, when he was born.
Whoa. I think there is actually a joke about his chin.
There has been.
No, there's another one that Clara makes.
Yeah.
It might be on Saturday.
Okay.
Or it might have been in Cold War, I can't remember. I watched them all quite a while ago.
It wasn't a chin, but he's not got that... He's got what... when David Tennant would get stressed and go, do that face? He did. Watch him. He did it all the time.
Older viewers might remember David Tennant was the 10th Doctor back in the noughties.
We were a simple people back then.
Yeah.
That was right, yes.
But sort of, the whole thing, and it's like, I'm gonna tell you a story. You know, it's like Max Bygraves. You know, when he gets up and does his speech.
Hold on.
Max Bygraves.
Do you want to explain for our viewers who
what a Max Bygraves
when
is?
there was this thing before the internet, there was this thing called television. We had 3 channels, or 4 in the 80s, and we had people like Max Bygraves.
It says we. I mean, I'm roughly the same age. I didn't watch Max Bygraves. We had a cultured house.
By the way, can I just say this? Sort of, the bit where he gets up and says, "You are a parasite." I want that speech at my funeral. I really do. I actually want that speech as my eulogy.
You heard it here first.
You did.
When Dazza here dies.
When I shuffle off this mortal coil.
It's now on YouTube for overall prosperity.
I noticed Darren's got 2 more pages left of criticism.
I have.
I didn't make any notes. It's all in here. Do we have any more comments on Rings of Akhaten?
Yes. Jenny D says, I wasn't a huge
Jenny
fan
D.
of the whole...
You got to say it properly, man. Jenny D.
I wasn't a huge fan of the whole ep, but I liked the beginning when we learned about young Clara.
Mm-hmm. Jenny D's going with me.
Did anybody
Jenny
else?
D.
I bet the girls
No, he's not.
And Jenny D also says...
Oh, Jenny D.
Jenny
Did they
D.
have more than one son, or am I just imagining that?
Did they even have a son? If it was a planet?
And Jitesh486 says, I don't think that guy died. I think he teleported himself somewhere else.
You know what?
Because he was so bored.
That's the point that I brought up was, is he going to come back? That's what's stopping me. I'm not enjoying the stories because I keep on thinking what's going to happen next.
I see, when I watch a story, I'm thinking what's happening now. I try not to think about the past, and I try not to think about the future. I try to just watch it on its own.
But you can't with Stephen Moffat.
I can. I think it's the best way not to have any expectations or even think what does this mean to the future. I like to watch things on their own merit and judge them on their own merit.
Yeah, but when the new series started, you had these little references, the Bad Wolf references that you didn't really pick up on, and then when it was actually revealed, you were like, oh, okay, now everybody's looking out for them, and it just ruins it.
It ruins it, yeah.
Well, the thing is, but there's not now. They don't have these little things because they're all standalone now. And some would say the worst off for it. Although they are, I suppose the theme this series is the mystery of Clara, which will become will become apparent. It'll become more mysterious in the next couple of weeks because the next 2 episodes are very Clara mystery based.
Okay, interesting, cool. Andy Oliver 232. I think the Doctor and Clara not offering gifts may have been the cause of the mummy waking up.
Oh. Now there's a thing. See, it's all your fault. It's all Clara and the Doctors, Forrester Welshman died in vain.
There was an interesting moment with the Clara and the TARDIS.
We won't. The doors won't open.
Interesting. What do you mean?
She didn't have a key. I mean, the Doctor's traditionally given keys.
This is it.
To companions.
But now we're reading too much into it.
Right.
She doesn't have a key. Something else that we haven't talked about is I came here with my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And then this big, massive musical cue starts.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That was a real dropped-in line, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. No. It was. It would have been great if it was just dropped in, but then they had this massive musical cue, as if, look, we're actually making a point here, and it's like, you know what?
Because there's no follow-up. It's like you have a granddaughter. There's no conversation about that, but then.
But why the musical cue?
Yeah.
It was sort of, what it should have been was just a nice offhand comment, and she goes, oh. And then they carry on.
Well,
what it was this big, massive...
Without wanting to bring Fear into it, the Doctor did a similar thing then where he said, I was a dad once, and then you had a confused look from Rose, but it moved on. So I think you're right in that. It should have been in that style.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more to say about Akhaten?
No, because everything else is not safe for work.
Do we have any more opinions from the internet? Jenny D again.
Oh, Jenny D.
Didn't Clara give her mother's ring to the guy who rented out those hoverbikes?
It was a girl. It was Doreen.
No, it was Doreen. Yeah,
it was Doreen.
One Jenny,
know what? One word about
Jenny
Doreen,
D.
She was rough.
Yeah, but she did. Which is yeah. So don't read that top comment. So yeah, that was the one thing that got me about that ring.
She had loads of other rings.
She didn't get it back though, did she?
Yeah, she was given it at the end. You know, they wanted you to have it back.
They wanted you to have it back. Yeah.
You know.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, well, it was actually it wasn't so much a ring as like a security deposit, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I missed.
They gave the Sky.
I mean, I thought it was a bit cruel of the Doctor to make her do that, but he was testing her, and because he really wanted to find out who Clara is, and this is these are tests that he's doing.
Give her a pen and paper and ask her to write something. That's the sort of test that don't ask her to get rid of.
Do you think he purposely left her on her own?
So he could meet Princess Bugaboo.
I think the using of the emotional attachment, such as the ring, and then she by herself brought out that leaf. Those are moments that, because he's trying to figure out who she is, and again, it's difficult for me to say because I've seen the next episodes, which are very Clara heavy. No offense, dear. He's very curious, and so when you've seen these episodes, you look back at that and go, right. He was. But
you see, I don't want to go back.
No, I don't. I mean, I certainly don't want to go back to that bloody episode again.
It's not one I'll be watching several times.
Yeah. So thank you for your comments. On
that was the rings, and the artwork was a bit sort of like a circus. Kind of made you think of a circus, didn't it?
No, because I just thought around the corner, sort of, I was thinking like X Factor, and it was like a pushy stage mum. Pushing the little girl out, saying it's your time to sparkle. That's why she was nervous.
I do think some of these artworks are a bit odd, I have to say. The posters that BBC designed.
Some of the creatures were beautiful.
I mean,
some were beautiful. Others were just sort of. Seriously, there was one. It looked like have we got a wire mesh wastebasket that I can just pop on my head? Because one of them actually looked like that. And that was an effective one,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the aliens. I thought it was nice. Sorry, I keep touching LSR's knee. You can't see this on screen. Bit of inside info.
I can see it here, and I'm.
The weird thing is, we're not wearing trousers.
Fan fiction is being written as we speak.
I'm gonna preview now the next episode, Hyde, in a very spoiler-free way. I won't be revealing any plot devices, but we're going to be doing Cold War in 20 minutes or so. So please get your thoughts on Cold War.
And of course, those who are going to the Star Fury convention,
yes,
Return to 11th Hour, will be announcing a new guest.
Oh man,
to that convention.
It's so exciting!
Right on the show,
right here, right now. I'm very excited.
Oh, your phone's just lit up.
Yeah. Just in case it's one of those messages.
People want. See, they're texting you. Who's the guest? Who's the guest? They want to know.
They are.
So Hyde is the next episode, broadcasting on Saturday at the slightly later time of 6:45. Now, before I discuss this, they announced today that Johnny the Descent of the TARDIS would air at 6:30. Now, this means we will have had 4 episodes of Doctor Who in a row that will all have broadcast at a different time.
It's like they don't give it 2 monkeys anymore.
2 monkeys?
Or 4 monkeys if it's 4 episodes.
No, 12 monkeys.
Yeah.
And what's preceding it? Is it the different? I don't know. Is the voice got a different time length each week because they're doing auditions, or
I don't know. And for the finale, and here's something that people might want to think about: the finale of Doctor Who Series 7 airs the same night as the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh,
so that might push it back. It might push it back even further, unless they cancel The Voice for that week.
Right. Because they need to. Because the Eurovision is like 5 hours long. It starts
at 8.
Right. Okay.
So if The Voice is on and then Doctor Who, it's either be a short episode of The Voice they won't do, or Doctor Who will be on, and this is the finale we're talking, will be pushed back.
Right.
They're not skipping a week. I have to point that out because they're releasing the DVD that Monday.
Oh, right.
So it will definitely be on that Saturday, but there'll either be no Voice, or Doctor Who will be on incredibly early. Yes, and now the lunchtime broadcast of the Doctor's name, or whatever they're going to call the episodes. I
think we need a show of hands of sort of, who actually thinks the BBC has just stopped caring?
No, I don't think that's true at all.
Why?
Because they do care.
Great show. Why are they doing it?
Because they know that they're still going to get roughly about 9-10 million people in all watching it.
And people are just pressing record on their box.
They're watching it on iPlayer. I mean, on the iPlayer, they're kicking the arse off of 2 million viewers. Now, as my good friend Andrew Ellard pointed out on Twitter, that's more than some shows get at all.
Yeah, right.
So for the iPlayer, which the BBC reckon that's about 10% of new viewers watch it on an iPlayer. Which for Doctor Who, I don't know if that's strictly true. I'd love to find out, but they reckon that 10% are people are repeat, so the rest is new.
Okay.
So do we have any thoughts before?
Michelle Meyer says, overthinking, but the leaf in the rings is not the same one the Doctor sees in Bells of St. John.
I think it is. Come on, Michelle.
They did look different.
They did look larger.
Why would she have two different leaves?
As I said, have you ever tried to sort of store a leaf?
Can I also go back?
I have eczema. It's sort of, it flakes.
Yeah, I thought it was pronounced eczema.
Eczema. Don't touch me.
If we can go back to that leaf for a second. Now, the BBC released these pictures, these promo pictures, and one of them was Clara with a leaf, like holding it up. So immediately when I started watching that episode, when they got to the planet, she's just waiting for the leaf to come out, which is extraordinary. I will say, we had a conversation about spoiler pictures. That I think the BBC aren't being too good with how they're releasing promotional pictures. They're releasing pictures from Hyde, which can contain, I don't know what that said, that contain images from a scene in the episode that was a huge surprise to me. And if it's a surprise for me, I'm guessing it's a surprise for most people. And it was a great surprise. But they've released these pictures now, so for people it won't be. You saw a picture of an ice warrior in chains. And he phoned me up and he was crying, going, why did they do this? Why did they do it? As a further warning, they are releasing a picture next Tuesday from Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, which I thought was it's a great moment in the episode, but they've got a picture of it as well. So I don't really agree with how the BBC are...
Because then you start just waiting for these things. It's like
when they say there's a twist in the film, it's like, oh yeah, what's
it's like the trailers now for movies, which just show you every twist in the thing, and you're just waiting for those moments because you've seen the trailers.
Yeah. In a world where a man had no trousers, boom, the worst thing you could never have. Did we have any points?
Doctor Who Forever 100 agrees the leaf is a different shape.
Well, I think because we dissed Doctor Who Forever 100 before, and they gave us that breaking news, which you can pull up, we should accept their viewpoint. Doctor Forever 100 let us know about these new pictures of David and what's his face, Matt Smith,
and a Zygon
in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not bringing it up on screen?
I don't know if it will work.
Oh, come on, man. Are you insane? Have you gone mad?
I've tried.
Can you not bring the picture up?
Because it's on Twitter. It just wouldn't say.
All right. Well, there's a picture of, and they're talking to Lizo Mazimba. They're doing an interview. Obviously, that's probably going to come out later today or tomorrow because Lizo does current stuff. So it might be. A couple of Zygons were spotted, which is great.
I have to say they don't look very threatening. It just seems to be sort of.
Yeah, he's got a nice bum.
He has actually. He's been working
got a nice bum.
He's been doing his bums and tums.
Interesting that the suckers sort of just stop at the bottom of the head.
Are we still talking about Matt and David?
That was very sick, James.
So thank you, Dr. Forever 100, for letting us see that picture. Interesting. It's not an actual scene. They're just filming an interview with Lizo Mazimba, which is slightly hilarious. But it's nice to see David and Matt together in costume.
And there's a tent.
Yes, that tent was on set last week as well with the Zygon. Right. That's where the Queen is.
Psychic Circus.
The Queen sits in the tent.
The Queen's sitting in the tent. She's
great to show
having a smoke, going, "Where's Matt and dinner?" The Zygon comes along, etc. Shall I go back to Hyde? Spoiler-free preview.
Yeah.
So Hyde, they've released some pictures, which I'll try and not mention this particular moment. Hyde, written by Neil Cross, who wrote Rings of Akhaten. No, stick with it. It's very scary episodes. Hyde. It's a ghost story. It has shades of a couple of stories from the Sarah Jane Adventures, which is certainly not a bad thing. I absolutely adored the Sarah Jane Adventures. And it finds the Doctor and Clara in a haunted house. They went there for a reason, and they find Dougray Scott, famous actor. You know Dougray Scott, don't you?
I do. I don't think I've watched anything that I've actually enjoyed him in, so I'd be really curious to see this.
Did you not see United, the Chris Chibnall drama with David Tennant about the Manchester United thing cry?
Yeah, that was
you didn't
good.
enjoy that?
It was good.
That was brilliant.
Okay, I'll rephrase that.
Mission Impossible 2?
I've not liked anything that he's the lead in.
Mission Impossible 2? Well, he wasn't mean. Well, he's very good.
He kind of he
Yeah.
Ruined the Primeval. I didn't get into it because
He ruined the Primeval.
yeah.
Was he in Primeval?
Wasn't he?
Are you not thinking of Dougie Henschel?
I'm thinking of Dougie Henschel.
Oh, it's another
Yeah,
of those.
and
It's
you're
a
in
Bill
the
Pullman
film
sort of-
industry, I believe, LSR.
Well, they've got kind of a face.
Allegedly.
They've got kind of both got squinty heads, don't they? Kind of.
I mean, I thought you were going to say they're both Scottish. That would have got you out of that trap. Squinty heads. What a racist. So
Yes.
Dougray Scott and Jessica Raine. Do you know anything about Jessica Raine?
No.
No. Oh, well, maybe I'll tell you. She's in
Okay.
Call the Midwife. She's the main girl.
I don't.
Okay,
I've never
fair
seen it. No.
She-
Okay.
Although you've heard of Call the
I've
Midwife.
heard of it.
yeah.
It's quite
She's
popular.
Jessica Raine, and this is where you should have maybe known this, LSR,
Yeah.
is playing Verity Lambert in the upcoming Adventures in Space and
Which
Time.
I'm looking forward to, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, LSR is pulling up pictures from filming. I don't want to see these pictures, by the way.
I'm trying to
maybe
find the
the
one
audience
that's
do.
been released.
Is it an official one?
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you couldn't get it up. Pardon. You couldn't get it on the screen.
Well,
Yeah.
we may have found another way to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, well, you concentrate on that.
I'm concentrating.
Stop
You
spoiling
keep
it.
talking.
So Dougray Scott and Jessica Raine play a kind of X-Filesy kind of couple. They're in a house where there's been haunted goings on.
Is
Um,
it period? Is it sort of 70s, 80s? Because I saw the trailer and they're wearing very unusual clothes.
Yes, it's
And
the
I was thinking stone tapes.
it's the 70s.
Okay.
And there's a very funny, I won't spoil it,
Okay.
meta comment about the 70s in Doctor Who.
Okay.
It's a nice
That's,
fun
worth,
one
that's
line.
worth tuning in for.
There's a number of old school references, especially to a guy called the Third Doctor, played by John Pertwee.
Okay.
Matt Smith will cause uproar and fandom at the pronunciation of a certain planet. It's people will go nuts unless they overdub it, which I don't think they will. And I think it's having studied linguistics, his pronunciation is absolutely fine. So there. There's also a reference to something else quite big in the world of Doctor Who that people will be like, whoa, that will freak people out, which is good. So it's a haunted house story,
Okay.
and so they're investigating, so they appear. And of course, you can't have ghosts in Doctor Who, or can you?
Okay.
Can we?
No, there always have to be some sort of.
You can't
thing.
have ghosts. There has to be a scientific reason for it. They've never had ghosts, I don't think,
No.
in Doctor Who. They've always thought there've been ghosts, but there's always been something
The ghost of Billy
sciencey
Piper?
or science fictiony or alieny, or
Yes,
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of thing. But I was thinking stone tapes when I saw it. I
Mm.
mean, you familiar with that sort of the TV special that they had in the 70s, where it was paranormal investigators come in and they end up.
No, well, I haven't. I thought you were just talking about the fact that stones contain.
Oh well, that
Yeah.
was the whole concept
Yeah,
behind
so-
it. But it was actually very, very terrifying.
Well, I will
sort of play
say,
for today's sort of thing.
I think the opening 20 minutes or so are quite scary.
Is it gonna?
It's quite jumpy as well.
Is it like Woman in Black jumping? Okay, well,
Yeah, it is.
Will probably.
so not very scary then.
I watched a Woman in Black, a 40-year-old woman. She was crying. She made me stop it after 10 minutes.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
sorry, Sarah, I just outed you.
Yeah, so it is scary, and it's beautifully shot as well. It looks great, some great performances, and it's quite a nice tight script. It takes a very interesting detour halfway through, which some of you will have seen the pictures,
Yeah.
and I've gone, all right, because it's such an odd thing. It's a haunted house. These pictures are very different. They're out there.
Back to paintings again.
It's all about the painting.
In fact, we've actually had a paintings comment.
It has nothing to do with paintings, but
We've actually got
okay.
Welsh Dark Dragon says, just a thought, could the previous doctors who can't appear in person appear as portraits in the National Portrait Gallery?
Well, I think a lot of people thought that. I'm just going to call the BBC and ask them. So we're live on air. It's ringing. BBC, is that true?
50-50?
No, it's not. They're not.
Do they want to phone a friend?
They've gone. So a lot of people thought they might be pictures, but I don't believe that to be the case. But who knows? But
the 11th Doctor has had his portrait done.
Has he?
We've seen it in previous episodes.
We have.
Could
Yeah.
previous Doctors have had their portraits done? I mean,
Possibly.
the Fourth Doctor's met Da Vinci several times.
Yeah, apparently.
I've only got one thing about the 50th anniversary. Just don't bugger it up.
Well,
that's all I'm begging. I'm begging you, please. Just don't. Be nice.
We're talking about Hyde here. We can come back to 50th anniversary later. How long have we got?
Tangent.
Yeah. So it's spooky, and then it takes a strange science fiction turn as
you would expect. Yes.
And it's done. It's very unusual for Doctor Who as well. The way it's done, the style of it is very good.
And who's the director of this one?
Feels great. I think it's Jamie Payne. I think we can look that up. I don't know. I might have got it wrong. No. I think it's Jamie. Okay. Who knows? Who cares? I think it's a new director.
It's looking forward to seeing something a bit different then.
Yeah. I will say the denouement, the resolutions are interesting. Some people might not like them. Some people will. There is, however, the ongoing arc of Clara plays a big part in the story, and there's one moment in it that you will jump, you'll be like, oh, and you'll be absolutely freaked out by, and it's a great moment. It's one of these Doctor Who moments that's brilliant, that you think, yes, only Doctor Who could do something like this. So it happens, again, the episode takes this detour from the haunted house, and has this great moment investigating the mystery of Clara, adding to the mystery. It's a good episode. It's very unusual, and it's kind of difficult to describe it like anything else. The haunted stuff feels... There's been a couple of Sarah Jane stories, as I said, that it's similar in field too. But it's a very interesting episode, and Neil Cross has somewhat redeemed himself. Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. Do we have any comments?
Barry Aldridge has just joined us. Hello, Barry.
Bazza.
We've got his top 5 coming up later in the show.
Matt King says, I think it's directed by a chap who has a very similar name to me, or is that the last one? I think Matt King, I was going to say that, but I think he does Journey to the Centre of the Earth. The TARDIS. Oops. Freud. But it might have been Matt King, but I think he actually did Journey to the TARDIS. Somebody can tell us. No, Neil Cross didn't direct it 1975.
Ben Rogers asked, is there any singing Hyde?
Oh, actually... I think... Oh, no, that's in something else. No. Anyone else?
We have... no, I think that's it for now.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure that we'll come across some more comments soon. Ayla G just reminded us...
Alia G.
No,
Ayla G.
Doctor had his portrait done in a style not typical to that era.
Ooh. And the era was a Thayak. Yeah. So thank you for your comments. Get your comments in now for Cold War.
Which we'll be doing a bit. Shall we?
But we're going to do. Shall we do the announcement?
Star Fury.
So as you may know, Sean.
For those who are new to us,
let's explain.
Who don't know what Star Fury is yet.
Star Fury organised conventions. Specifically, last year they did 2 brilliant Doctor Who conventions. One of them was the 11th Hour, which featured a guy called Matt Smith. Remember him?
Yeah, no, I remember bumping into him there. He was sort of rocking and rolling.
It was funny because that wasn't the first time I'd met him. I think it was like the 3rd time I'd met him, and it was great because he remembered who I was. He's like, "Oh, how you doing, man?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?" The second one they did was Midnight, which had Billy Piper and David Tennant.
Yeah,
remember those guys?
I think I remember.
And that was a coup because they'd never done a convention together before.
Together, separate. No, had she even done one?
No, that was her first. I think.
Billy Piper's first convention. She had a lot of firsts. For Star Fury, they do a lot of firsts.
Yeah, we talk about Star Fury because the guy that's normally here with us, Sean. Would normally
be sitting in that
fabulous t-shirt.
What does he do? What does Sean do? He is Star Fury.
He is Star Fury. He runs
Sean, if you're watching. I know he's not.
I am Star Fury.
He does Doctor Who conventions, Game of Thrones,
Never
Glee.
Glee. I like Glee, but what's Game of Thrones? You should do the two together. Glee of Thrones.
He does vampire conventions.
And
just sort of generic sci-fi ones as well.
Generic sci-fi.
Called Invasion, which has got
Eve Miles coming up.
The next one.
So they have a convention coming up called Return to the 11th Hour, taking place in Birmingham, UK. Already announced are Karen Gillan there on screen. Announced last week was Catherine Tate.
Yes.
Now, she's never done a convention either, and I'm so excited about meeting her.
This is huge, I think. The whole Catherine Tate thing is huge.
That's amazing.
She's never done a convention.
I'm trying to get Sean to let me to interview her. I don't think he's going to let her, but I have adored Catherine Tate for many years, and I think Donna Noble is the best companion there's ever been. Personally, that's what I would say.
Okay.
So I'm looking greatly forward to seeing her in person and to see what she's got to say. Also attending is David Bradley. You know David Bradley, don't you? Not personally. Or do you?
Yeah, not personally.
David Bradley, Dinosaurs in a Spaceship. Also appearing as William,
and plays William Hartnell in the upcoming special.
Yeah, he's also in Well, he was in Broadchurch.
Yeah, the character died. What? But that was 2 weeks ago. Come on.
He was also in Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh, sorry.
He played the voice of the Shansheath in Death
That's
to the
well
Doctor.
remembered. Yes.
There's also got Neve McIntosh there. Lovely Neve. We did an interview with her last year.
Yes.
Caitlin Blackwood, young Amelia Pond, she's turning up. There's going to be Anna Maria Mancina, who played Darla in Asylum of the Daleks. Simon Fisher Becker, our good buddy Simon Fisher
We love
Becker.
Simon Fisher Becker. Who now there's this really good TV series on YouTube called Threesome. Have you seen that? With
I love the music.
starring Simon Fisher Becker.
Yes, Simon Fisher Becker, great. Dorian Maldovar, of course. He's going to be, and he was at the one last year. He was amazing, great guy, love him. Spencer Wilding is going to be there.
Spencer Wilding, he's played quite a few creatures now.
He played the Wooden King in Lion the Witch in the Ward, the Doctor, the Widow in the Wardrobe.
You're getting loads of things right.
God Complex. He played what was technically called the Creature, but we would refer to as the
Naimon.
The Minotaur, I was going to say, but
the Naimon.
He's a Dustin? He's a dusting cousin.
He's a Naimonite or something.
Put in a penny.
And of course, he played the Ice Warrior.
And he's also in Game of Thrones.
Wow. Glee of Thrones. So Sean has given us permission to announce another fantastic guest.
And this is a screen legend.
I would genuinely say absolute screen legend.
Possibly now in the National Treasure bracket.
Without a doubt. This man, I mean,
well, you've said it to man, so there's a clue.
There's a clue. Yeah, he's a man.
So it's not on the black.
He was in Doctor Who very recently.
Oh,
very recently.
But his screen career goes back to, he was at Hollywood busting in the 70s.
Let's face it, Star Trek fans will be quite pleased about
this.
Oh, yeah,
I forgot he was in that. Yeah.
And horror movie fans would also be very pleased.
Science fiction fans from 1982, a special film. Shall we put up a picture of who it's going to be?
Do it. Yes, it's me.
Yes! It's David the Governor Warner. He is the latest guest to be added to Return to the 11th Hour. Of course, recently seen in Cold War. I loved him in Tron. Remember Tron?
Yeah,
don't laugh. He's brilliant in Tron.
He's always brilliant, though.
Yeah, he is. He's amazing.
He is a great actor. Actually,
of course, he's done some Big Finish audios as well.
He was great in Nightwing, which is a film that only I saw. It was about vampire bats.
Nightwing.
It was bats.
We're trying to make him look good, and you're talking about.
Okay, Time Bandits. Then I'm sorry.
He was also in Scream. Scream, was he in the first Scream film? Or the second Scream film? He was in one of the Scream films. But yes, David Warner, amazing guest, and I'm so looking forward to meeting David. He's a screen icon. He's a screen legend.
He is a screen legend. Yeah.
I'm looking.
Very nice bloke.
Is he indeed?
I don't know. I'm just doing a smashing night.
So you heard it here first. David Warner will be joining an amazing array of guests.
I mean, that is quite a weekend, I have to say.
Yeah, the thing is, there's something else that's to be announced. They haven't announced yet because they can't. But it's a further. I mean, it's not as big as Catherine Tate and David Warner, but there's an extra thing that's been added. That if you're at the last one, you might get a flavour for what it is. But there's a couple of things that are going to be happening during that weekend that Doctor Who fans should be very, very excited about. Maybe not necessarily to do with the new series, but something that you should be very excited about. We can't announce it yet, but it's very exciting.
Can you whisper it in my ear?
I couldn't even. Hold on, I'll just ask the BBC. I've got them on speed dial, of course. Can I? No.
Go on.
What else is he in? David Warner. Of course, he was in Dreamland.
Doctor Who Dreamland.
The animated. He played Lord Aslock, of course. Well remembered there. My good buddy. So David Warner, really looking forward to meeting him. Really, really great actor. And he's 70s now. Incredible to think. And I thought he was brilliant in Cold War, which is great because guess what? We're going to talk about Cold War.
Cold War, indeed.
Oh, L4T Productions says, of course, he was in Mad Dogs recently with John Sim, Philip Glenister, Mark Warren,
Yeah, he was
Max
he
Beasley.
was the bad guy. He was the gangster.
He was amazing. He was sitting on the
great.
beach eating an ice cream.
Yeah.
He was amazing. If you haven't seen Mad Dogs, it's one for the older viewers, not for the youngers.
Not safe.
He was brilliant in it, of course. Hope he's in the. I don't know if he's in the next one or not, but so a great guest and really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, I think he's going to be an amazing panelist.
Yeah.
To
I'm hoping that we can maybe. I suggest this to Sean. We could have like a Cold War panel. Spencer Wilding, and
then just a worship David Warner
and
panel
together.
That's a separate one.
Yeah, because he could do that on the Saturday. You know. So, and I hope I get to interview him. That would be amazing on stage with David Warner. David Warner, David Bradley together on the same stage.
It's just too much David.
Yeah.
Never have enough David.
Too much David goodness.
Wow, David Goodness. Is he
Actors
coming as well?
actors with David.
So there you go. That's brilliant.
That's brilliant. That's fantastic.
It's so exciting, and we're going to be there.
We will do, indeed.
We're going to be doing a panel or two. I'll be interviewing people as well as always. So if you are going to the convention, and if you're not, I bet you are now. You can come and talk to us in person
Absolutely, and
because we get lonely.
well, we'll also be looking for some people in their various cosplays.
Oh, yes.
for
We'll
a certain documentary.
Yeah, we'll maybe talk about that at a later point. Although it's coming soon. It's in June.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. I'm very excited. So thanks to David Warner.
Well, thanks to
Thank you,
Steinfury.
David. Yeah.
And thanks to Sean for letting us do that. Sean will be back next week, I assume.
He will.
Sean's not here because it's his birthday this week.
It is his birthday this week. He's celebrating all week.
He is
birthday.
63. I can
have
say
think
that
it,
because I know he's not watching.
Still got all his own teeth. Bless his heart.
So we're going to talk about Cold War, the most recent episode, which most of the previews, in fact all of the previews, including mine, were insanely positive about this episode. And not just because it was brilliant. Oh no, that's why it was. It was because it was brilliant. So please get your thoughts to us now on what you thought of Cold War. Dazza, your thoughts?
I daren't.
Why not? Did you not like it?
First time I watched it, I didn't like it. I watched it again today for the sake of so I could sort of go. And you know what? The second time it grew on me. Not. I'm sorry. I always find Mark Gatiss stories disappointing.
Can I stop you?
Yes.
Right. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? It's pronounced Gatiss.
Sweetie, which hands up? Who's been on a date with him?
He pronounces it Gatiss.
Well, we didn't even get to the second.
Yeah, you did. Should you have said that live on air?
Yeah, it was 1999. It was
You actually told me something about that day. Should I repeat
did.
it?
That's why I'm keeping stum about it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Gatiss.
Gatiss. I find his stories always get beaten. They always get built up, and they're always disappointing. The peg dolls.
I like
You
that.
know,
Night Terrors.
No.
No?
They're all. I mean, I think why they get built up is it's we know that he's very good, obviously, about genre, and they're always very much genre pieces, aren't they? They're all influenced by something. I mean, this is very much sort of Alien,
The Thing.
The Thing. It's all his stories have been. They're identified in almost sort of horror style genres, aren't they?
He's an amazing, phenomenal, very talented writer, but I think they get just unfairly to him. They get blown up, so you get expectations are built up. And I really, I enjoyed it the second time. But I had to watch it the second time for this. Would I have watched it again?
I disagree because I actually loved it the first time, and I loved it again the second time.
You loved it.
I loved it.
You loved
I
it.
loved Cold War.
I went from meh to.
Did you love it both times?
I did love it both times. Yeah.
Well, I'm different to both of you. I absolutely, as you will know if you watched 2 weeks ago, viewers, I was raving about it then. Absolutely loved it, and I've seen it a few times since. But each time I begin to see some slight flaws. The Dalek analogy, which I think I made at the time, it is a rewrite of Dalek.
It was.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with stealing. Some of Doctor Who's best stories have stolen from great literature.
Okay, so let's just talk about the creature. I mean, the Ice Warrior.
Are we wanting to go there already?
Well, because if we're talking
Yes,
about
okay.
Dalek,
Okay.
we've had Ice Warriors in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We know they're the big lumbering guys.
Sorry, had to.
It's obvious they've always worn armour.
Yep.
But I guess you never got a sense that like a Dalek, they're just going to be a tiny little creature inside the armor. You actually felt this was a proper bodysuit. It was a bodysuit. It was a proper bodysuit armor, as opposed to being essentially a cybernetic organism style, which I know was probably one of the original ideas, I think, for the Ice Warriors, but probably budget reasons back in the 60s they didn't really could explore it.
Yeah. What was your point?
Yeah,
The point
being
talking about Dalek, it suddenly became not that different to Daleks. A little small creature with clawy fingers, stuck inside a robot.
I loved it. I loved the bits when you saw the hands come down and they go raw.
Yeah.
But I mean, I disagree. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with, and you want to pull up the picture. I do have a problem with the design of the CG design of the head. I didn't think it was that good. The CG there
Because it doesn't seem to fit.
It just it didn't. It just I mean, there we go. There he is. Do you ever see that episode of Star Trek with the Gorn?
Yeah, I'm seeing a Gorn.
It's like a miniature Gorn. Yeah.
It just I just don't like that design, and that the whole ending of it for me was slightly ruined.
Deus Ex Machina.
Pardon?
Well, I was thinking, was it Deus Ex Machina? He put the
you didn't just say that, did you?
He put
you being funny.
He put the call out. How can they teleport? They're Ice Warriors. They apparently can't teleport through ice. They had to bring the submarine up. I'm not sure. Would they have got the bends, or would the inside? Would they have just decompressed and exploded everywhere?
It's funny you mentioned the bends. A lot of people were saying, "Wouldn't they get the bends?" Like, come on, who cares? Somebody else also pointed out.
All right, last week the planet just sort of disappeared.
Yeah,
and they all stayed in place.
Somebody pointed out that apparently, if they were under the ice, that the submarine would not be able to fire the missiles. It's like, what? I mean, really?
That's a good point, actually.
And somebody said, I don't think David Warner would have been able to get a tape of Duran Duran in Soviet-era Russia.
We've actually had that.
Oh, have we?
In
God, sorry.
the comments book as well.
Have we?
He wouldn't have been able to get a tape of Duran Duran in Soviet-era.
But they made a point of saying he got sent it by a friend. So I don't know.
I've got a sort of a quiz. Okay, what with this? He talks about Ultravox as well. It was a nice little reference. Okay.
Well, I tell you, it meant nothing to me.
That kept.
Oh. Shut up, your face.
I was going to put that as a question. I was going to sort of offer a date with Cameron as the answer.
I don't do dates. I just do brutal.
I love the bit. What is this Cold War you speak of, Earthling? There was so many. I think I know where you are finding the cracks that you didn't like. There was lots of sort of references that sort of there was lots of what you call you're about to die dialogue. What's
that denouement, the sort of face off. I did like the fact that he didn't.
If we get out of here, he said, when we get out of here, it's like, you're dead.
Yeah.
But
I did like the fact that they didn't talk him down. It's just the fact that his ship came to get him. Yeah. But it did seem like they were going to talk him down. I thought, no. I mean, I thought he would have punched that button a lot quicker.
Because this is the character you kind of know is actually going to come back.
Do you think so?
I think Skaldak is coming back.
Probably with that, chorister from the Rings of Akhaten.
And the bosun who went missing in the Curse of the Black Spot.
Yes, exactly. I'm so glad somebody else brought that in. But that's for another.
But it had so many great moments.
So someone's going around collecting all the people at the very end of each episode.
God, hey, it's a spin-off. But it was great. I mean, it didn't ruin the episode for me. The ending. It was still fine, and I still enjoyed it. The thing that got me at the end, though, was the fact it was a nice little gag that the TARDIS was in the South Pole.
Yeah.
But I thought, that's.
Oh, and
the idea of the Doctor having to spend all that time doing nothing is like, oh. I mean, the fun thing would be getting to the TARDIS.
You now have a whole series of Big Finish in the future where the Doctor travels south to the South Pole.
He's just talking. Day 2.
Day 2.
Yeah. Clara is getting on my nerves.
Clara's now wanting to go to Machu Picchu on the way.
But I think the problem for me was it didn't go far enough. It could have been terrifying. Was there a problem with we had 2 splashes of blood. You didn't see the dessigcated corpses. Would it have been a problem?
Desiccated.
Dissected.
I'd love to see a desiccated corpse.
They're called mummies. All right. Yeah, you saw one in the Rings of Chakagon. But would it have been a problem just to see a hand sort of dangling down with a bit of blood?
Yeah, would have. They can't show blood.
You can't, but they did.
Did they?
Yeah, they showed it on the photograph.
The photo was splattered with
We had like
with the
2
socks.
drops of
Yeah,
blood.
but that's a
blood,
photograph.
yeah.
It's not real.
But also as well, there's water dripping. Could it, down? Could it be slightly red? It would have been. You took a good story. You could have made it horrific. The direction.
This should have been. It was a horror. It's supposed to be a horror film. The whole setting was a horror film.
So make it horrific.
Make it a horror film. Yeah.
Well, it's difficult. It is
You can
on
make it
at 4:30
now.
in the afternoon.
I mean, that's why I suppose they came up with the whole idea of the creature inside the Ice Warrior outfit, because obviously it's too lumbering to be to be threatening in a scary way inside that sort of stuck claustrophobic submarine. You had to have a creature that could scuttle around and hide and be.
Yeah, but when it actually sort of when it calls the suit back at the end and it stomps through like Frankenstein's monster, that was genuinely
it was good. I quite like the fact that the ice, because I'm not a fan of the Ice Warriors. Shock me not liking something, but I thought it was an impressive beast when it moved, and I loved that bit when it was chained. It really did seem to have pace and speed and agility. And then, as you say, when it was called, when it came through, is that this is good. This is look much better than the Cybermen have in recent years, for example. So it was good, and I liked the fact that the beast inside moved and was quick, and I liked the fact it was grabbing people. The reveal of that face, they didn't need to do it. It was so unnecessary.
We didn't need to see the face.
Exactly, and that they spent money that, frankly, they didn't need to. They could have had that conversation quite easily.
And as someone pointed out in the comments box, who was it? I can't find it, but they said, why would they spend all this time on creating prosthetic aliens in the week before, and then for your big alien in this one, it's just a CG head?
Thank you.
We do have some more comments. Let's get Barry Aldrich says, I actually like the face of the Ice Warriors. I loved the episode. To me, the Ice Warriors were given real justice by Mark Gatiss.
I think they've been away for so long, to bring them back and actually mean something and actually give the Ice Warriors a better bite, which is why I think Skaldak will actually come back. I think the Ice Warriors will probably end up in the next series, I'm sure, somehow.
The next series? Is there another series of Doctor Who? I thought they were stopping it after the 50th. Joke.
He's run out of regenerations, yes. No, I'm sure they'll be back in the. They're going to become regulars now.
I think I like the idea of more Ice Warriors, and the fact that they brought in the ship at the end was good. But obviously they're not a race that are against Earth, because they came to pick them up and then take them away, rather than. It would have been great though if they sort of they were just going over
just as they sort of sped up, it'd be like giving them the finger.
Do a Belgrano, just going, they take that.
But we also know that the Ice Warriors.
They're an honourable.
They left Mars anyway. Yeah. They are in other parts of the galaxy, so there's no reason we won't have space stories.
And there's also there's no reason why you can't have bad Ice Warriors who.
Absolutely, the Peladon stories established that they are part of this sort of galactic peace thing, whatever it is, and some of them don't agree with it, and some do. So
they have
more. The thing about it is they're more.
Can I pick?
It's like Cybermen with personalities. That's what they've created, isn't they? And that's what's lacking out of the Cybermen. And let's be really interesting to see how they're now brought back in this series to actually give the Cybermen a bit more bite. But the Ice Warriors is what the Cybermen should have been, I suppose, if you're going to bring them back and not waste them.
Speaking of bites, we have a special video presentation from Baza.
We do, indeed.
Baza Aldridge, don't we?
We do. He has a top 5.
Top 5 of?
It's top 5 classic monsters
that
have been brought back in New Who.
Yoo-hoo!
His 1 to 5 ranking of
1 to 5. Is it going to be 5 to 1?
5 to 1 ranking of
course it is.
Classic.
Okay,
returners.
well, let's hand it over to Baza, the Governor Aldridge.
Hello, Talking Who, it's Barry Aldridge here, and I'm back though with another top 5. Now, this week's top 5 is basically a bit of a special one for all those classic series fans going in towards the new Who. It's my top 5 favourite classic series monsters that have returned in the new Doctor Who. And the good news is I'm going to reveal the 5 here, and then I will actually say what my top 5 is. So they are the 5 that I can know of is Daleks, Cybermen, Sultarans, the Autons, and the Ice Warriors. So yeah, any of those will be on that list definitely. So those are the 5 big ones that have actually returned into Doctor Who since from last Saturday, since the Cold War with the Ice Warriors. So here we go. This is my top 5 favourites. Here we go. At number 5 though this week, it is in fact going to be, surprise surprise, it is in fact the Cybermen. Now some people will be quite surprised. Some people will think, why haven't I placed them higher than that? Well, basically, in my view, really, I'm not a big, huge fan of the Cybermen. I think they're sometimes a bit dull, though, really. But they do have some good stories. Back in the classic series, it was Troughton's stories and Peter Davison's ones that were good. I wasn't a big fan of the Tom Baker and the Colin Baker and the Sylvester McCoy one that much. But, you know, I did like certain little bits of the Sylvester McCoy one. But anyway, that's another tale sort of thing. When they came back, though, in Series 2 for The Rise of Cybermen and the Age of Steel, I thought this was a fantastic story that reminded me of the essence of what happened in the Troughton years, and you know, the Troughton years Cybermen of being ruthless and that, and having that semitone voice and that. And I thought that was really, really good in that. I think it was really, really good in that. I enjoyed that 2-part tremendously. I felt like they were a bit not that great though in Doomsday because they were relegated to a secondary villain behind the Daleks. And then any other appearance, I just feel like, yeah, they're not too bad. They've helped to build the story a little bit, especially, you know, in some of the later episodes within Matt Smith and Smith in that, you know, which is not too bad. It was kind of cool in that. But to me, yeah, the Cybermen, they have a great appeal though with fans, but not too much to me though, sadly though, really. But I still honour them as a good sort of villain on certain stories. But yeah, so I will honestly say that. At number 4, I'm going to give it to the Autons, also known as the Nestine Consciousness. Their very first story was in Spearhead from Space, and then Terror of the Autons during the Don Pertwee years, written by Robert Holmes and that. I do like the Autons because they're kind of like really menacing, that really pull you on the screen and that. I did like their appearance though in Rose though, which was the very first episode of the brand new series. I felt they were really, really good in that one. And Russell T Davies tried to create something that was kind of respectful to that very first story, Spearhead from Space, when the Autons came out of the glass windows and that. I thought that was really, really touching as well. At the time I thought it was sacrilege or something like that. But then years later when Barry Letts appreciated it about what Russell T Davies tried to do with the Autons, because, well, Barry Letts wasn't the producer of Spearhead from Space, but you know what he saw in that, I thought, you know what, it's kind of cool in that, you know, it's like the present respect in the past sort of thing. I never really thought about it until after I listened to Barry Letts' interview, and I've looked back at the Rose episode, I think, yeah, this is a good way of bringing back the Autons and that. And they did come back though in, you know, in Matt Smith's era, when, you know, even Arthur Darvill's character, Rory, was sort of taken over by an Auton sort of thing in the end of Series 5. But anyway, he's back as being a human being now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I do like the Autons. There's something really cool about them, you know, even their no eyes sort of thing. It really brings good presence to them. At number 3, I'm going to give it to the Soltarans. I have to admit, though, really, the Soltarans are something a bit interesting about them as well. They're a race here that really want to fight in that, and they've always been called Mr. Potato Heads in that, you know, potato head people. And I'll be honest with you, they do actually work. They've always worked, though, since the Time Warrior, you know, which was also done by Robert Holmes as well, and I think there's something really special. I did like the Time Warrior. I did like the Soltaran Experiment. The Invasion of Time's not too bad, and I did like the 2 Doctors. Even if people said, yeah, even some of the production said, oh, it was a bit too much or whatever because of the location or whatever. But I do like a lot of the Soltaran stories in that. I do like the 2-parter that they had though in Series 4. I think it was the Soltaran Stratagem and the Poison Sky. I thought this was a brilliant 2-parter with so much action in that, and had Unit in there as well. I thought it was such a really well paced out 2-parter, definitely. I think it really pulls you in and really gets you in there and that. And then you have the old Soltaran there who's a medical officer who's helped out with the Doctor and that. I think that's a nice little touch that, you know, sometimes there may be certain villains that the Doctor takes on. There are some good ones amongst the bad eggs or something like that. But yeah, I do like the Soltarans as well. I think there's something menacing about them as well. And I like the fact, yeah, they try and pay to the homage to the heights and that. Although in the 2 Doctors, yeah, their heights were pretty different. But I like the Soltarans. I think they're really, really good. And they had a good sort of story though in Series 4, definitely. At number 2, this is one of my clinical favourites. It's an unexpected return for them. It was known as the Ice Warriors. Now, the Ice Warriors, I'm a huge fan of the Ice Warriors. I think, to me, there's something magical about them. There's an honourable code with the Ice Warriors. They first appeared, though, during the Patrick Troughton years, during self-titled The Ice Warriors in 1967, and then The Seeds of Death in 1969. And then they returned in the 2 Peladon stories during John Pertwee's era, with the Curse of Peladon in 1972 and the Monster of Peladon in 1974. There's something really honourable about the Ice Warriors in that. I mean, with the Troughton years, they were sort of villains, but you know, they were sort of like stuck in a glacier though in the original Ice Warriors story. And then there was something sinister about them though in the Seeds of Death. But you know, they were trying to claim a new planet or something like that. But there was something really cool about them. It was something very, very sinister about them as well. And you know, in the Curse of Peladon, they turned good guys, which was a bold move by the writer Brian Hales. It really did work, and that it made it something a bit interesting. That there was something honourable about them, and that. And then, you know, in the Monster of Peladon, it turned out to be a renegade group that were the villains and that. So it shows, yeah, it shows there's 2 different sides of society, like with human beings and that. So in a way, yeah, they're trying to say Martians are the same as human beings and that. And then their return in the Cold War was amazing. I think it's one of the best comebacks for a monster ever. I have to say, I was so excited about it, so hyped about it, and it turned out to be one of my favourite episodes of Series 7 so far, the Cold War one. And Mark Gatiss really tried to restore the justice of what Brian Hales did with his original work, though, as well, which is really, really good. And I'm actually really impressed as well with the new Ice Warriors. And of course, you find out one leaving its suit, because I always wanted to know if they would. And it looked really impressive. So there's something honourable about the Ice Warriors in my view. That's why I've always liked them. It's like a gang code or a family code. Like if you affect one of them, that all the rest will come after you. They just do it for a reason about why they go after certain things. That there's probably a reason behind what they actually do. So yeah, there we go. And of course, my number one, well, there's not me too much to explain. It is in fact the Daleks. They're my first ever monster I ever watched back in 1988 from Remembrance of the Daleks. I could go on all day about the different stories they've actually appeared in and that. There's something honest about the Daleks as well. You know, they just go out and kill just for no apparent reason. There's something wonderful about them. Like they're schizophrenic, they're maniac, they're the worst things in society that you want to take out and that. There's something about them that makes you go, wow. And the pepper pot design is actually really cool from Raven Cusack from back in the day, and Terry Nation's writing from back in the day and that, you know, when he wrote all the Dalek stories and that. And then, you know, they appeared in nearly every single series of Doctor Who now though, really. And there's something wonderful about it with Robert Shearman's writing back from Series 1. I thought he did a great job. And when Russell T Davies brought back the Emperor Dalek at the end of Series 1, I thought there was something magical. And he made the Daleks and made them a stronger threat in the Doomsday one, but a little bit weak. But you know, and then you know, seeing evolution of Daleks, so in Series 3, and then you know, bringing Davros back in Series 4, and then a new evolvement of the Daleks, though in Series 5 by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss as well, which is kind of interesting, though, really. They always evolve and they always change, and they still are a very, very strong villain, though, the Daleks. That's all I can say about with the Daleks, really. And that's it, guys. That's my top 5 villains that were from the classic series that have returned though to new Doctor Who. I'll speak to you another time though, guys, hopefully with another top 5 on whatever it could be, what Elsnar or Sean or Cameron want me to do. Peace. Hello to
Yay! Thanks, Bazza.
Thanks, Barry.
Good choices there.
Good choices.
Good choices.
Daleks have to be number 1, of course.
No, they don't. I don't like the Daleks. They're boring. Yawn. I like Davros though.
What did you think about the way they brought back the Sontarans? Made them all much smaller and bluer.
I loved
uniforms.
it. Perfect.
They were great.
Loved it. Next. We got
one thing I liked, I think, about the oldest Sontarans is that they kind of all looked imperfect. Yeah. They were clones, but they looked. There was like
that was not by design though.
Well, maybe not, but at least they had a
like
bit more.
When they grew fingers,
a bit more personality, I suppose, in the fact that.
Whoa! You thought the older Sontarans had more?
No. I'm not talking about personality of the individual. Because Dan Starkey is amazing.
He is amazing. Dan, good personal show.
The personality in the makeup heads
and the helmet.
You know, in the helmet, in the fact that he had black eyes.
You want a
funny
helmet?
Weird hair,
you want a helmet with personality?
They looked. They just
stop.
You want a helmet with
personality? They were all clones,
but
they were all slightly different, just because they weren't always perfect clones.
You know. I'm going to have to take issue with you and your ridiculous theories. Look at the Sontarans in Invasion of Time. They were awful. Oh, I'm a Sontaran. Or however. He was awful. Anyway, let's move on from that. We've got some opinions to read out before we finish the last 5 minutes on Cold War. Read them out, baby.
Please, somebody mention.
Samuel David Carter asked, who is the guest for Return of the 11th Hour? Has it been announced yet?
Samuel David Carter, we did announce it, is David Warner.
There he is.
David the Governor Warner. He's going to be singing a live version of Vienna. I'm doing the drums.
Hungry like the wolf.
Bum, bum,
Followed
bum.
by the Rings of Akhaten songs.
Yep. Any other comments?
Ben Rogers, bring back Alpha Centauri.
Oh. That's not really a comment on Cold War, though.
Yeah. So
Well, kind of. There's an Ice Warrior connection, you know. They do know.
L4T Productions says, I thought Liam Cunningham was a wasted guest. Wow. He didn't. Yeah, I mean, David Warner got the lion's share of the script. He was brilliant. Although maybe he just did more with it.
Too many guest stars in one episode.
I think no, I don't.
on Death Red
Liam
Shirt,
Cunningham
somebody.
is a great actor.
Apparently
he
he's
probably was a
Glee.
bit wasted though.
Can I just say,
Oh, no,
quickly
Game of Thrones.
as well, never ever end a Doctor Who episode on a laughter, on the joke. You know, they all joked about sort of, you know, going to the South Pole. Yeah, your entire crew's dead beneath you.
Well, no. How many?
It was like John Barrowman in Shark Attack 3.
Well,
you know,
actually,
at the end.
the
Megala Who.
Wow.
Yeah, a bunch of people just died.
What I actually didn't like about the end was the fact that they all just sort of left the top and go back inside.
Which is
And
like
leaving the Doctor
charnel
by himself.
house. Right,
Sure,
yeah.
but it's an alien craft. You've never seen aliens before. There's an actual alien spaceship. Wouldn't you, as the professor who's the scientist and the captain of the
Close
sub?
Encounters,
It'd be
wouldn't
like,
it? It'd be
okay, let's take some notes here because this is like alien technology. This could help, you know.
And it
the
did look a
Soviets,
bit
I
like
think-
the Dominion in Deep Space Nine. It had the
They were
same
a bit-
colour scheme.
I'm sorry for viewers who've had to put up with these idiots talking about Deep Space Bloody Nine, a show that only 5 people watched.
I have a pair of scissors.
I'm joking, of course. Wow. Any more?
I like how you say
4T Productions, bit off topic here. Earthshock was only a good story because Adric died.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Earthshock. I'm a big fan of Earthshock. The Cybermen androids, brilliant stuff. Cybermen, brilliant stuff. Peter Davison, Beryl Reid. Oh,
I think that's because there's been a conversation about Cybermen in the
people have been having a conversation, not paying attention to us.
Matt King says, "What about Macro?" As a return.
Oh.
Well, they've
I
been
guess
in it.
because they didn't make Barry's top 5. Macro.
Yeah. Dazid, is that? No. Daz FD says the red setting made an appearance this week. It did. Can anyone remember when the red setting was referred to in the Sonic Screwdriver?
Well, as
Come on.
opposed to
Come
not
on.
not in Cold War.
Yeah,
You mean
not
previously?
Previously, yeah.
I don't remember that actually. No.
In the library, River Song said it's got a red setting. The Doctor says it
Ah.
doesn't have a red setting.
But
It will do.
It will do when there's a threat to nuclear war.
Yeah, or whatever. So there we go. Any other comments on Cold War? Because I think people must have said more than that, surely.
Come on, is nobody going to criticise the HAD system?
Oh.
You know, the most worst plot device known to man for that episode. You know, it just conveniently goes. Anybody, come on, please.
Right. Yeah. The HAD system
I don't have a problem with it.
It just conveniently sort of, you know,
disappears to protect itself.
Well, that, I mean, to be honest,
Well, I suppose the thing is under
Wouldn't-
threat.
wouldn't
What,
the
what was
TARDIS
it? What was it actually under threat from?
Nuclear
Because
war. He
the-
actually
the-
mentions it. Oh, maybe that's connected to the red setting then. Maybe there's a connection between the two.
I think getting the TARDIS out of the way is a good thing because it
Yeah,
allows.
but it's such a sloppy way of doing it. Have it, you
But
know.
see, the TARDIS is like all
A
kinds
woman.
of proof. It's got, it's full of
It's all things to all people.
it's full of shields. You know, you can't shoot at it and anything. You know,
Can't break in, that's right.
Can't break in.
Even though the Genghis
But-
Khan could get in here.
But the a bit of leaky water in a submarine. And it's bloody off. It's out.
I've had enough.
I've had enough of this.
See you later, guys.
I just think it was a bad plot thing. There could have been better ways of making sure that people could not escape on the TARDIS.
I think it would have been better had the TARDIS just gone. And he's like, oh, why did it do that? Why did it do it?
Yeah.
Find out later. Who cares? It's not important. We've come to the end of the show.
We have indeed.
Before we thank one another in a very graphic and open way, next week's show.
We might want to close our eyes for this one.
Close your eyes. Next week's show, we'll be discussing Hyde.
Hide.
We'll be reviewing Hyde. You won't be here next
I
week.
won't be here. I'll be there in
We'll have
spirit.
stinky old Sean Harry back. He's not watching. It's fine. We'll be previewing the next episode, Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. We didn't have time to preview it tonight. I could have if you'd wanted to, but not enough time. We'll be previewing that
Yeah.
episode next week, so get your thoughts in about Hyde when you watch it on Saturday. If it's a sunny day, make sure you close the curtains, because
For the full effect.
it's pretty scary, yeah. Pretty scary. And keep an eye out for spoilery pictures next Tuesday for Johnny the Centre of the Earth. Speaking of spoilery pictures, who's that?
We finally found the picture. There it is.
Check out that Zygon's bum.
I know, nice bam.
Obviously taken from inside a building, because you can just see
Yeah,
the edge of the window there.
Nice framing device.
Um,
So that's Lizo Mazimba in front of Matt and Devad doing an interview.
So there you go.
Is that an old TARDIS? Sorry.
Oh.
It looked like an older TARDIS.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
looks really old. I mean, it's not that. It's not as blue.
No, and the windows are not white. Let's not discuss this when people have been looking at it for hours, probably, and we're just
Yes, and we
just stumbled in thanks to one of our lovely viewers. So next week we'll also be talking about, because we're talking about Doctor Who's this year. We've done the first three guys, whatever their names were, I can't remember. But next week we're going to be doing Tom, the Governor Baker.
Everyone's the governor to you.
Well, it's not everybody. You're not. The BFI this week are doing Robots of Death at the BFI. The BFI
Yes.
The BFI doing it
South
to the
Bank.
BFI.
Yes. Which I'm greatly looking forward to. Robots of Death is one of my favourite episodes. And in the panel, there's Tom Baker, there's Philip Hinchcliffe, Louise Jameson's going to be there. Now, interestingly, it's Louise Jameson's birthday on Saturday.
Fantastic.
We met her a few weeks ago.
We did. She was
Lovely.
spilled tea everywhere.
She did on Toby Haydock's jacket. There's a bit of info.
You know what, I had to clean it off. I did.
I have to say, she's very attractive. Does that make me sound like a misogynist?
Not at all.
No. So next week, Hyde, preview of Johnny the Centre TARDIS and Tom Baker. It's going to be back, but no Dazza.
Not me, but you know what?
But Dazza will be back, no doubt.
Will he?
I don't know. It's
It's your show.
I've just found a bit's fallen off the camera, and I'm Dalek woman.
Oh,
Haha.
Yeah, he's not going to be back. I'm joking, of course. Thank you.
I've never found myself censored.
Don't forget
before.
to go to starfury.co.uk to get yourself a ticket to Star Fury.
Which has got Catherine Tate, Karen Gillan, David Bradley, and of course, as we exclusively announced tonight, David the Governor Warner.
Yes.
So
That's another governor.
thank you, the LSR. Whoops! Thank you for joining me, even though I'm joining you technically. My name was and still is Cameron K. McEwen, and thank you, Darren, for such a wonderful show.
Thank you for.
You did lots of
thinking
talking,
me at
which
the
is
last
nice.
minute. Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you so much. Thank you. Everybody watch my show, please.
Well, yeah.
Well, do you want to just give out your...
Yes, everybody watch my show. If you ever wondered what Bloody Mary was actually like on her time off, go and visit www.bloodymaryshow.com and find out.
Apologies for the word bloody there. I'm joking, of course. So we will see you the same time, 7 o'clock next Wednesday. Thank you.
Bye.